Oh, sorry.
That's just sitting up there, you know.
I'm just sitting up here twiddling my thumbs. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 9938, State of Texas versus Pablo Rodriguez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state.
Defense?
The attorney record is Joanne de Hoyos. Joseph Stateson standing in. Mr. Rodriguez, would you let this judge know if you're okay with me going forward in place of Mr. Hoyos?
All right, do you have any objections to this attorney standing in? All right, counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your clients?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, did you review the application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
No.
And did you understand that if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea? If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility? Did you understand? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $700 fine and the state recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
The agreement, the state is recommending that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 120 hours community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer states 1 and attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor. And I had something to add to the record at the appropriate time regarding punishment.
All right, you may proceed.
Your Honor, we ask that you follow the plea bargain recommendation. Mr. Rodriguez, we had several settings before we had accepted this plea offer. He currently has a parole hold. We had explained to him that we're not his parole attorneys. We don't know what parole is going to do. He's hopeful that parole won't act on the parole case. He's asking for deferred adjudication. He wants a chance to follow it. He claimed that he had never had deferred before. He's willing to do classes, treatment, drug testing. He wants to succeed, but he doesn't want to get really addicted. He's actually asking for treatment. We're hoping that he has a parole hearing soon. We're going to make a decision and hopefully he gets back out. Regarding the fine, since Joanne de Hoyos is court appointed and he's been locked up for over 53 days or more, and he has a hold, he won't get out. We're asking that the court could probate the fine. And I'm not certain what parole is going to do.
Okay. All right, and what is the parole case that he's on for? Does anyone know the case number? Did someone look that up in the system? Was that the case that you're on parole for? Was that a case out of Bexar County?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
I have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
10? All right. And so the person's home you were at, you realize she's your ex-wife and she doesn't want you.
Your Honor,
They are back together?
I mean, we're not together, but we're on good terms now.
my understanding is, if I may,
Sure. Yes.
that she may have, she's not here to testify, but she may have done that for whatever personal grudge she had, but that she was willing to do an affidavit. But we had explained that the police got a call to respond to a house where he had a key at. He actually had a garage door opener.
That didn't work.
He was outside the residence. He wasn't inside the property.
Oh, no, I'm not proceeding on this as a burglary, but I'm trying to stress to you that the reason why we are here, this started out as your ex-wife calling in because you were trying to get in the house, a house which she says that you all have not been together for 6 months. I'm assuming that's the time that you were in prison. It wasn't? All right. So based upon what I've read in the police report, you should remain an ex while you're on probation in this court, unless she's going to come here and says that she wants to rekindle your relationship. Otherwise, I'm going to put a no contact in here. And if you're released from custody and you're on probation in this court, you're not going to be allowed to have contact with her. You understand? All right. I'm going to order 2 years deferred adjudication, 120 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. If he completes that, then the court will deem the community service hours satisfied. There's going to be a TAP evaluation in custody. Follow all recommendations. This is going to run concurrent with 2016 CR 9173. If they revoke you on parole, then your attorney will come back to let us know they've revoked you on parole. Then you will have a decision to make whether or not you want to go serve more time and then come out and still be on probation. You understand?
No.
There's to be no contact with the location at Medina Base Road. And is your ex, and there's to be no contact with proof of employment within 30 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. How far did you go in school?
Graduate,
Okay. What are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
the forklift operator,
Okay.
forklift operator.
Okay. We'll do a gang evaluation. And that will be in custody. UA hotline upon release. And there will be 90 sober meetings and 90 days upon release. And field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. And then at probation's discretion. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, is there anything else you need from the court? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, so we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Maybe parole is going to revoke you. I don't know. If parole does revoke you, then your attorney will come back to us and let us know that you've been revoked. And then there may be other decisions that your attorney will talk to you about. You understand? But in this court, in order to be successful on probation, communication is key. If there's an issue, you need to let probation know. If you feel they're not addressing it, you can always come back to me, okay? And here's the other thing, as a health note, what is this up here?
It's a lipoma.
Are you gonna talk to somebody? Or are you gonna wait till you're on Dr. Pimple Popper where it's this big and you've named it?
Waiting to get out to remove it. I
Okay,
could get it surgically removed.
okay. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your patience. Court is calling 2019. Where is he?
He's here, Jim.
Come forward. Thank you. Court is calling 2019 CR 9018W, State of Texas versus Walter Gene Sermon Martinez. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Danny Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Humberto Saldaña for Walter Gene Serna Martinez.
And are you Mr. Martinez?
I am, Your Honor.
Did you review the documents entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision and State's Motion to Supplement Pending Motion to Revoke Probation with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did, Your Honor.
Are you the same Walter Jean Cerner Martinez who was placed on community supervision in 2019 CR 9018W for the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more on October 7, 2019 for a term of 7 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Walter Jean Cerna Martinez, the then and there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of February, September, October, and November of 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor. Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
No objection.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, court could find it true, grant the motion, and the court could sentence you up to 7 years in the prison? Did you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
I do, Your Honor.
Court is finding violation of condition number 5 true.
Judge, we have some
Is there-
witnesses.
You have witnesses?
Yes, but that's fine if you get the offer. I'm
All
sorry.
right, state.
I said I had witnesses. I was just letting the court know.
All right, state, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
State, what are you going to be requesting?
Your Honor, it was a proposed agreement for an extension of 2 years, a 90-day jail sanction and a jail cap, and to follow the recommendations. And to wait in jail for a bed if inpatient is recommended. Grant for 18 months in lieu of the PAMP device. Bi-weekly UAs for 90 days, and to verify employment and residence every 90 days.
All right. And defense, what are you going to be asking for?
And Judge, we're in agreement with the 2-year extension. Obviously, he is very active. He's in leadership at Ignite Church across from Our Lady of the Lake University, including youth counseling and youth ministry. And Judge, we're asking that he stay out so that he can fulfill his very important functions. He has had a very brief time to show compliance since the time he bonded out, but he's done a stellar job. He's been contacting his officer Borrego on what one?
Officer Borrego?
Excuse me, no. If he wants to testify, he needs to be placed under oath.
For clarification, Judge, it's off-site, but it's one of the satellite offices. I'm not remembering the street, but he's been reporting to her. He's got another report on the 22nd, I believe, of this month. As I said, Judge, well, that's what we'd be asking for. I've talked to my client. He's in agreement with extending because he owes those years back. And we just want you to hear us out for the reasons that we're asking that.
Your Honor, maybe you have a moment really quickly.
Sure. All right. Yes.
Okay, Judge, we would like to proceed for the reasons that we,
All right. If you'll call your first witness.
okay. Naomi Martinez?
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Noemi Martinez Luna.
You're gonna need to speak up so that the
Noemi
court reporter can
Martinez
hear.
Luna, sorry.
All right, and don't talk while only one person can talk at one time. So what is your name?
Noemi Martinez Luna. Step forward. I'm sorry. Noemi Martinez Luna.
All right, did you, get that? All right, defense.
Yes, how do you know Walter Martinez?
He's my brother and my leader for worship team.
Okay, and where is this worship team?
And Ignite is in front of Lady of Our Lake, Ignite Church.
And how long have y'all been going to Ignite?
5 years, 5 years. Mhm.
Have you become familiar with the reasons why we're here in court today?
Yes.
And what is your understanding as to why we're here in court today?
For my brother revoking his probation. And he's trying to get another chance. He has been free of alcohol and free of, anything outside the church basically for the last few years. And I've seen a drastic change in his life.
So explain a little bit more about the change in his life. What have you witnessed in the last 5 years?
In the last 5 years, he used to be a bartender, which was taken back, you know, in a downhill spiral, back to drinking, and he stayed away from that. He has made his own company, an electric company. He has ministered in different churches, not just our churches. On Saturdays, he ministers at Collective, and he's the worship leader there too. He teaches the youth and also ministers in our church.
Okay. And when you say he teaches the youth, what specifically does he does? What are his activities?
His activities right now are showing the youth how to find freedom within themselves and their minds and their emotions.
Okay.
That's what we're currently on right now.
Okay. Does he also do not choir, but sing for the church?
Yes, he's a worship leader.
Worship leader? Okay. And who is the pastor of the Ignite Church?
Manuel Donel.
And he's not able to be here today, is that right?
No, he was here the last time.
He was here last time, but he was not able to be here today. Okay. But he would have been able to testify that Walter is a very integral part of the church.
All right, that'll be sustained.
You can call him. if
That's
you-
okay. No problem.
Yes.
And so with regard to Walter, as far as the 2 years of not reporting, are you familiar with the facts and circumstances surrounding that?
Yes.
And what had happened there?
It was after post-pandemic, and he was struggling, you know, going back to the electrical field. In that he couldn't afford the monitor, the payments that you have to do. And with that, he I guess self-medicated with alcohol, and he's told me and he's told our pastor that he's tired of that life and he doesn't want to, you know, return. He just wants to move forward.
Okay. So in essence, you know that who's the one that bonded him out of jail? Who did? Okay. And you put up money out of your own funds.
Yes, and the pastor as well.
Do you believe in Walter?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe that he can do probation the right way?
Yes, I believe in him and in Jesus Christ. A little
Okay.
louder, please. No, I believe in him and Jesus Christ.
And do you believe that he has a positive effect on the community?
I do.
And particularly the youth that you talked about?
Yes, and the adult, young adults.
And Walter's not up here saying that his previous life didn't involve sin, right?
Mm.
Okay. But he's saying that he's rectified that and he's got a grasp on it, is that what he's saying?
Yes, sir. He has also ministered to the youth the consequences from his DWIs in his past and how he's come to overcome with, you know, structure.
Okay. And why is it you believe that he continued to be abstinent from alcohol?
He's probably tired. I mean, after that, and then the post-pandemic, after everything that just happened these last 5 years, you know, it's an eye opener. It's a wake up call as well.
Do you know if he has a current probation officer?
He does, and he's also volunteered to the probation officer to allow him to go in and do drug screenings as needed, and she agreed to every 2 weeks is fine with her.
Okay, great. And he wants to prove that he can do this in a sober fashion. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the judge before she makes her decision as to what to do with Walker?
Before this, the other DWIs that he had, I didn't see him wanting the change. I automatically would see him go to, you know, the bartender, and I would tell him, that's not a good idea. And now he's like, he opened his business. He doesn't want anything to do with that. And he's trying to be, you know, a good citizen to this community and especially to the church and an example to the youth and the young adults in our church.
Do you have any reason to believe that that will be disrupted by any incarceration as far as his functions at church?
His stuff at church, his business, and the other church is not just our church.
Okay. Wait, what do you mean by that? That's not just our church.
He's a worship leader at Collective, and we also go with rise worship, and so he doesn't only lead worship at our church, he leads in other places.
Is that all you wanted to tell the court?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
State.
So your brother is teaching the kids about the consequences of what happened whenever he got a DWI, right?
Right.
Would you agree that part of the consequences is probation?
Yes, sir. And
And
he
that,
tells them that, sorry.
well, you would agree with me that he hasn't been reporting in almost 3.5 years. Do you think that's a good example of facing the consequences of your actions?
No, but that's something that he's changing. He's working on currently to move forward.
But that's only after he got arrested.
He had told me that he needed to come in and he needed to find a way, and it just, you know, we prolonged it, but he did tell me, he shared it with my pastor and he shared it with my mother.
But he never actually came.
He hadn't, no. He planned to, it was too late. And that's the consequence that we're here today.
So you would agree that being a good leader and teaching about the consequences of your actions would be taking responsibility.
Yes.
Pass the witness.
Any other questions?
Yes, just, so, I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be here. There weren't some missteps along the way, right? Do you know if this is his first MTO?
For this, yes.
Okay. Do you know, has Walter talked to you about consequences and facing consequences and what he's learned?
Yes, we talk about consequences.
Okay, how often do you meet with Walter?
He lives with.
Okay.
He
How long do you, how often do you speak with Walter?
lives with me every day.
So every day you talk?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you all attend church together on Sunday?
And Wednesday as well, and Saturday for prayer.
Okay. And so would it be fair to say that he's very involved in church?
Yes,
And you've stated already that there's a lot of positive things that he can show you.
yes.
And let's be honest, this church is not on the best side of town, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, it's very humble beginnings and it's people that may be there for certain reasons, right?
Yes, sir.
And people that maybe have a lot of past transgressions go there.
Exactly. We've had a few people come in as walk in and seek for help, and their help has the same to do like either with drugs or alcohol. And, you know, when they hear me too, but look at me now, it's, you know, brings glory to God and, you know.
Okay, I appreciate that. I pass the witness.
No problem, State.
All right, I have a few questions. When he was placed on probation in 2019, was he still bartending?
In 2019, no.
Was he bartending in 2020?
Eventually he went 2021. No,
All right, so 2021, he was bartending. And were you aware that he was on probation?
yes.
All right. And did he speak to you about bartending
Yeah.
during 2021?
Actually, I spoke to him. I brought it up to his attention and told him that it was a bad idea, like I said earlier.
All right, so did you ever speak to him and tell him, hey, have you been reporting to probation?
No,
Did you know he was not reporting to probation?
no, I thought he was.
All right, thank you so much. All right, call your next witness.
Walter Jean Serna Martinez.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Walter Jean Serna Martinez.
All right, Vince?
And Walter, you've heard what your sister had to say. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that or correct?
There's nothing that I would want to correct. It's just in these last couple of years, Judge, that I have not been reporting to probation. I did know that I needed to, and yes, I did fail the court in not reporting to probation for fear of incarceration. But since my time and while I was out here, I have done the best I can to live right and even abide by the rules that had been given to me the first time. I seek to start a business, to learn a trade, and to become great at that trade. I seek to to grow spiritually. And I feel that I have done that and have been given the opportunity, even from my pastors, to share my testimony and as to this, as to even the consequences, understanding that, yes, I did need to go in. And even now, so telling the youth, this is what happens. This is what happens when you don't take care of something. This is the consequence. I understand fully. I would love to continue to stay out and work in the community and still be an example and just letting other people know and maybe impacting somebody else's life by the sharing of my story, from coming from a place of alcohol abuse to a place of where I'm happy with myself. Judge, I'm happy with myself. I used to abuse alcohol because I didn't like who I was at the moment, but in that moment. But I've come to realize that there's nothing about Walter under the influence of alcohol that I cannot have sober. And I've got to the point where it's like alcohol is not even something that I crave for. I do still stay my distance because you don't play with the snake knowing that it'll bite you. But I don't feel like there's anything about Walter intoxicated that I can't get out of Walter sober. And I think that's all I have to share. And I thank God for the changes in my life. I thank God for the opportunities that I've had in these last couple of years to grow in my trade and to grow in my ministry. And I hope to continue to do so.
All right, here's the thing. People are placed on probation. That's a contract with the court, and there are consequences. I know people would love to, hey, I'm not reporting, and then come up to the court 4 years later and say, but here I am now. I've got my life together, so let me not face consequences. And sometimes people think, oh, well, the consequence is I got arrested. No, that's not the only consequence. So I know your defense attorney doesn't want you to go into custody because they're saying you have all of these commitments, but your first commitment is to the court, and you're on probation for DWI. And you were saying you were doing the conditions of DWI, even though you were not reporting.
Yes.
So did you have scram?
No, Your Honor.
That's the number one thing about DWI. You need a scram device. And so you didn't have scram. And basically you were just out there living your life. And I know you were saying finding yourself. So you're out there living your life, finding yourself, and not doing any of the conditions of probation.
I understand. Yeah.
That's not probation. So I'm going to give you a choice. Here are your choices. You can go to prison for 2 years and you'll be done. Or either way, you're going into custody. You're going into custody either to go to prison for 2 years, or either you're going into custody to remain in custody for your TAP evaluation. And we'll see what the TAP evaluation says. And you will be extended on probation, not for 2 years. You'll be extended for 3 years. And that's the length of the time that I can extend him. And he's going to be on scram for the full term. So those are your choices.
Option number 2, Your Honor.
All right. So the court is finding violation of condition number 5 true. There's going to be a TAP evaluation. And we'll do a felony drug court evaluation in custody. If he's not accepted into felony drug court, then whatever TAP recommends. Felony drug court will probably be the best place for you. Are you driving or no?
No, Your Honor.
All right, there's to be no driving without ignition interlock. And I'm going to order scram for the full term. And there's to be no employment in any field where the main source of income is alcohol.
Judge, and I believe he alluded that he's got a journeyman's license now, or near a journeyman's license now, electrician.
Oh, yeah. I gave him 200 hours community service, and I said that will be waived if you obtain a certificate in some kind of trade school. Or so I appreciate your doing that. There is going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. We'll do the UA hotline for 40 days upon release. Do you have a sponsor?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, that's great. How often are you attending sober support meetings?
I haven't been in attending support meet. I haven't been to attending sober support meetings, but I do have somebody that I contact when I do have a bad day and I feel like on the edge. I do have people that I talk to help me walk through those things.
All right, there's going to be 120 sober support meetings in 120 days. And extend for 3 years. Probation, is there anything else you're requesting? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
All right. Do not come back to this court for not reporting. You know you're supposed to be on probation. We can go off the record. You're not 19. How old are you?
I'm 32 years old.
All right, so you know what the definition of responsibility means, and you need to follow through on it. And I'm going to tell you right now, the motion to revoke, that's a contract you have with the court. That's not a contract you have with your attorney or with the state. You could have easily been going to prison for 7 years today. Do you understand?
I do understand, Your Honor.
So from here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could result in me potentially going to prison for 7 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. In this court, I always tell everybody, to be successful, you've got to be communicating with your probation officer. If you feel there's something they're not addressing, you can always come back to court. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.